Greg, domestic terrorists, this is something, the idea here is that political violence it seems to, and today, exist extremely on the left compared to the right.
Yeah, I think you had one day. One bad day for the right,
Exactly.
and they had to like milk it for all it's worth. Commissions, you name it, throw everybody in jail. They've done this every single day since like 1963. They haven't stopped. And think about all the crap that the Dems are doing now. The singing, the shouting, flying to El Salvador, storming ICE. They've replaced law and order with performance art. The problem is, like all performance art, no one buys it. It's one and done. It's self-serving. It doesn't offer any service to the community that they claim to help. No one really remembers Van Hollen going to El Salvador. I'm sure he would like people to forget about it. I won't. Somebody should put out an Amber Alert for Van Hollen. Where is that douchebag? That guy wasted, how many weeks of our lives being a self-righteous jerk? Sorry. I was going through all the words in my head, and I came up with jerk. But this is all, you know what this is? This is all traced back to the guilty white liberal and the soft bigotry of no expectations. They believe you cannot be held accountable for your actions. You're almost too childlike to be expected to conform to civilized behavior. This is why you have the affluent white female libs, awfuls, defending extra rights for male perverts, gang members, and psychopaths. Imagine if a lot of women there went into this ICE structure alone without any security. What might happen there? They'll never find out because they have security. Meanwhile, it's American men, mothers, and wives who have said enough. Americans are generally pretty laid back until they're not, and then they've had enough. You elected Trump. The adults enter the room. These are children. This is a tantrum. They expect us to respect that. We won't.
Yeah.
Katie, you talk about violence. I'm old enough to remember when police officers around the country were being assassinated. 5 in Dallas at a mostly peaceful protest. And now you have Democrat members of Congress going on there. I was assaulted. I mean, they looked real assaulted to me. I mean, roughed up grandma there.
It's a show. And again, what are the Democrats' priorities? So the mayor of Newark oversees a city that right now has a huge problem with their airport. It's an international hub. He's not dealing with that problem. It's a city that has a higher than usual crime rate compared to the national average. And what is he doing? He's showing up at a federal facility, trespassing, breaking in, and getting arrested for show. And then the congressmen and women who are there with him go out to the cameras and claim that they're assaulted. Well, it's not assault when you break in to federal property, and it is a federal crime to trespass without permission. And I think if you look at the way that certain people have been prosecuted for trespassing on federal property, and Democrats continue to say the law is the law, that maybe they should be prosecuted in the same way as the insurrectionists. Exactly.
Harold.
Exactly.
Harold, I could hear your voice reading this topic saying, I think political violence on both sides should be condemned. Like, 'cause I know who you are, and I know where you think you're a very level-headed guy.
You should be there, too. If you, I mean, that's
but
not,
I don't
I'm
want
proud
to
of
give you
it.
that. I don't want to give you that softball. You are a Democrat, and you hear Jasmine Crockett kind of just punt the responsibility. And so whatever you think is happening on the right or isn't happening on the right, the left probably should take a stand against not just what we saw at this ICE facility, but what we're seeing in these protests on college campuses. And honestly, if words are hurtful the way the left would say, they're saying they're being very violent.
You finished?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a believer in bringing people together. And for the life of me, I don't think, you can laugh. I think there's a dearth.
I've been to his hot tub parties.
I think there's a dearth of that. When you see violence in politics, the instinct shouldn't be to say, they do it more than we do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's done 90% by Democrats and 10% by Republicans or vice versa. I don't have a thing in front of me to tell you. I do know the country. We have a history in our country, and some of it is a proud history of having hard, contentious conversations about really, really almost intractable issues, some of them which still afflict us today as we try to solve them. And sometimes it turns into silliness. It turns like I don't agree. When federal officials tell you you shouldn't do something, you shouldn't do it. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I give you no leniency because of your political leanings. 2, You said it well, Katie. In New Jersey, it's not just in New Jersey, it's in a lot of places. There's an air traffic control issue. That's where every politician, whether you're a Republican or Democrat, should be trying their hardest to fight. You have people that can't pay their rent, can't pay their mortgage. You have small business people worried about how to set prices, whether they have to fire people, whether or not they're going to have inventory in their stores. That's where the focus should be. So violence should be condemned regardless of who commits it. And I don't know if one party's committed more of it than not in our almost 250-year history, but I know one thing. Hard, tough, political, contentious conversations are fine as long as our aim is to try to solve things. But this is not, whether it's January 6th, whether it's this, whether it's any of the other examples that we talk about here today. The focus should be on bringing people together and solving problems. And that may sound corny, but I don't mind being corny
Can I
today.
say one more thing just about the people they're defending in this ICE facility? There are people in there who have actually assaulted people, people who have actually committed sexual assault, other kinds of violence against American citizens. And the Democrats who stormed and breached the premises are trying to protect them.
They should let them in and let them hang with them for a few hours.
Yeah,
Rosanna, it's not just this ICE facility. I just not far from here, Brooklyn University had, I guess protesters thought they were going to make an encampment, and the university said, no, we're not having that. They call in NYPD. They say, come in and clean this out. They do. Protesters get violent. Next thing you know, they're claiming that they're being assaulted, and all the police are doing is exactly what their job is. Is this leaning towards another anti-police movement? Because that's what's going to happen. They're going to get violent in these protests. We're seeing it, Antifa, that kind of thing. Now it's the Antifada.
It seems like the police, especially in New York City, have been very measured in dealing with these campus protests, whether it's at Columbia University or Brooklyn, where it happened just a few days ago. And by the way, some of those protesters defacing property all over the place and encouraging, a little bit of aggression. They want to see something happen. With the Newark mayor being arrested today, I keep thinking about New York City's mayor, right? And the mayor of Newark and how different they are. So the mayor of Newark storms a federal facility knowing full well he probably will get arrested.
Hoping so.
Hoping to get arrested because he wants to have some kind of stance on the migrant situation. We have the mayor of New York City who basically got arrested, he said, because he went to Washington and shamed, at the time, President Biden for his stance on how he was handling the migrant situation in New York City. In fact, Mayor Adams is in D.C. today talking to President Trump, and I'm sure the migrant situation is on their agenda.
Well, here's the hoping that everyone that is considering political violence doesn't.
But understand, they have every right to go there. They were not allowed to go in.
Break
But oversight function of the Democrats and Republicans in Congress is something
that's different than breaking in.
No, then they should have been arrested. You should be held accountable if you committed. I agree with you wholeheartedly, but they have every right to try to.
DHS said they give them a tour. They didn't do that.
The problem
and
is
they were wrong.
there is going to be no accountability. They're going to raise money off getting arrested, and then no charges. They're going to be set free, and they're going to win.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.